Hello teacups, what's brewing? I'm late for a very not important recap. I was actually making notes on her live while it was live yesterday, but just went on a little bit long. I was tired by the time she was finished, and I was expecting, okay, I'll get up, I'll record it, I'll put it up, it'll be up nice and early. No, friends, it is currently 10 to 10 at night. So my responsible caffeine choices should be admired all around. Guys, I'm getting my teeth cleaned tomorrow and I'm getting them whitened on Thursday. And once they've been cleaned, I'm not allowed to have coffee for probably a week. I haven't really come to terms with this just yet, but it's going to be an interesting thing. The patience I am not going to have next week is going to be quite the thing to see. This is either going to go really well or really not for my reacts, because Chantal sometimes is a little bit silly and I am generally better caffeinated when I deal with her. So this originally was going to be a combination on Oh the Drama, which I tried to film yesterday, and then she went live while I was about to sit down and do it, so I waited, and there we go. I don't think there's anything massive you need to know out of that first one, other than, let's see. She was saying she was getting better from her kidney infection, her sciatica pain now comes and goes, but she's struggling with it. Apparently she doesn't have it in Canada at all. Guess it must be a case of that rare, recently discovered geographical sciatica I've heard so much about. She complains that stretching doesn't help, possibly on the back of this, because everyone's listening to everyone. I got suggested things in my YouTube shorts saying, hey, stretching doesn't help sciatica because stretching your leg doesn't help sciatica because it comes from the back, and here are some stretches you can do that will help. And I was like, oh, there we go. I mean, it was on YouTube shorts, probably from TikTok, so grain of salt, don't pull a foodie here, but there we are. She does confirm that she has not had an MRI. I remember that being a topic of discussion before, and she doesn't want to go through surgery, so she'll just suffer. Bear in mind, all the doctor said is that he thought it was going to be this, and she's had nothing to confirm it. Could be anything. Let's not check it closer with all your other health issues, eh? In regards to the MRI and treating the sciatica, she said she's actually on an oral medicine called Olfen, which appears to be an alternative to the injection she had, and it's an NSAID. I looked the medicine up because we were talking about her diabetes medicine, and it carries a risk for cardiac events and GI issues, which doesn't seem great for her particularly, and that risk can increase with prolonged use. So when she went to the diabetes doctor, I really hope that she spoke to them about the medication she's currently taking, because, you know, interactions are a thing. She also confirmed there were no new developments in appointments and said, inshallah, soon. I don't think you need anything else from that, but that's really kind of what's relevant to everything else we talk about. And then she went to bed because she recorded that one quite early in the morning. She woke up later in the day and she did the live that's now becoming a little bit infamous, live dinner. And that's what we're going to look at now. So, says hi, hold on, she has 1,000 pills to take. She said she woke up at 2, she's eating chicken with some kind of glaze that she put on, mixed frozen veg, cheese, pickles, and then at the last minute we hear rice because she's hidden it under a massive pile of veg. She tells us the rice is basmati, so lower on the glycemic index. You know what's also quite low on the glycemic index? No rice. No rice would still make this a perfectly fine meal and be lower on the glycemic index. Says her sciatica is still hurting. Brenda in the chat asks if she went out this weekend at all. Foodie says no, hopefully tomorrow, but it's very hot. So nothing will have changed since the previous live, but she's just been sleeping all day. Brenda keeps asking about the rice and what the diabetic doctor she's seeing now said about the rice, and Foodie just studiously ignores the question. She does go on later to tell us that the rice is loaded with vegetables. She added them, and she added some tomato and stuff, I guess to justify her eating it, but she seems to think that one cancels out the other, going on with this idea of like the unicity will cancel out any carb sheets afterwards. Silliest of geese is trying to tell her that the veggies do not cancel out the rice because she's got some form of sense, and Chantal smugly smiles and says, no offense, but you're not my doctor. People are trying to tell her through the chat that they're trying to help, but she's not really having it. She does tell us she did an experiment. Oh God. So, upon waking up with a 14 blood sugar reading while on, is it 5 different types of diabetic medicine, including the insulin she now takes. She decided to do an experiment to see if Unicity works. Unicity being that drink that she drinks that has a whole 3 grams of fiber in it. She's very much bought into the idea that the fiber coats the stomach and therefore she doesn't absorb all the carbs the same way. It doesn't spike the blood sugar. It's all very scientific according to her. I would be very careful putting that up on channel because I don't think it has the scientific basis she thinks it does. But she's all one for pseudoscience, and that 3 grams of fiber is going to mean she can eat anything she wants. If you ever want to see really good examples of how Foodie goes through her addiction, these are the moments when you see that behavior in action. I can't have this, I can't have this, I've got to be on insulin, it's a really serious thing. So I can't just eat brownies, but I'm going to do an experiment because it's scientific and therefore it's not just because I want the brownie, even though the result is going to be a way to justify having the brownie. But anyway, her big experiment was she cooked a pan of brownies, which she claimed she only had 1 of. She did show us the brownies afterwards and they were nice big thick slices. I would guess if it was a rectangular pan, she probably cut it into 6. She claims she's only had 1. I would be worried for the survival of those brownies overnight, particularly as she left this stream mad. And her experiment was she ate the chocolate fudge brownie, she did that before meds, drinking the Unicity first, and then measured her blood sugar again an hour and 10 minutes later, and it was 13 point something, so therefore the brownie didn't spike her blood sugar. So the plan is today, she recorded it by the way, because she wants to prove it. The plan is today, she's going to repeat the experiment without the Unicity and see the difference. I'm guessing, as I guessed when she did the cottage pie, that she has not yet spoken to the nutritionalist. And as I said, she did confirm that, because this smacks very much of Foodie's idea of what's healthy rather than anything that's been advised. I'd recommend using her time and her energy, which is apparently in limited supply, to go to the nutrition center, but she's trying really hard to science her way out of this rather than listen to the qualified doctors. People in chat are not happy with this and she will not back down. She is justifying hard. She's saying she's doing an experiment and if she just ate rice and chicken, she'd binge. Jackson in chat says very sensibly that, hey, Unicity doesn't work because if it did, doctors, endocrinologists would prescribe people Unicity. And this is the big thing when it comes to the pseudoscience, when it comes to the pills, when it comes to the shakes and drinks and things that people say, oh, a secret ingredient from wherever, and then they try and sell you a program. There are some drugs that are medically proven to help with weight loss. They exist. I know Ozempic blew up recently. But drugs or supplements or drinks, if they really worked, they wouldn't be a secret. They wouldn't be shilled on some little website very quietly because you are special and you've been let in on the secret. They would be Nobel Prize winners. Think about the developed world. Think about the cost of obesity and the strain it puts on the medical system and the amount of people it kills. Anyone who had an easy cure for these things would win a Nobel Prize. It's not going to be a secret. But her response to that is not necessarily. While I do think she will literally do anything to get a sugar fix right now, I also think she's enjoying getting a reaction and being like, we'll see. And she's just smiling, which is giving really big Taco Bell mukbang diet energy when she did that Taco Bell mukbang for intuitive eating. She talks about how Unicity is made for diabetics. And God, she really will just believe anything. But this is the dangerous part of what she's putting out. There are people out there that will believe her, whether they should or shouldn't, will believe her. And that is dangerous to somebody out there who really is finding it difficult to adapt to better eating and thinking they can just take that shortcut and have a little bit of what they want. And so needless to say, listen to doctors, not Foodie. But she's trying to act like this is reasonable. She's saying she's skeptical too, which is why she's experimenting. Directly after being in hospital for a diabetic event seems like the perfect time to do brownie-based experiments, doesn't it? These are the moments when you just look at her and you're like, there is no hope of you ever taking steps to get yourself well. Like, there is no rock bottom here. And she said it before, she wants the food more than she wants the cure. Proving how healthy she is at the moment, she goes to lie down saying, oh my goodness, her sciatica is beezing hardcore. People, God bless them, are still going off about the brownies in a way I quite appreciate. They are not letting it go. Her anyways, we'll see. Again, Taco Bell intuitive eating vibes. She tries to distract with Julia and accidentally turning her camera around because people like to see her room, and it's not distracting people. They're trying to talk about like changing her diet long term and how this won't be helpful to her, and remind her that if she sees a difference in how her blood sugar is reacting to this brownie, if it doesn't spike the way she's expecting it to, it will be because she's on 5 different kinds of real diabetic medicine, not the unicity. She tries to argue with this. She says her sugars have gone down to 13, 14. And again, 4 or 5 medicines. 14 is still, what, twice the high point recommendation? Isn't it like 5 to 7? That is the normal range, something along that? And given that there isn't really a defense for this, we go back onto the eating disorder talk. She's getting annoyed and telling people they don't know anything. I feel like at this point she's going to rage quit soon. I was wrong. She did not rage quit soon, but she did rage. She's not going to stop eating healthy carbs and once in a while a treat, which is now apparently what the brownie has become, not an experiment. Because the answer to that would be, is directly after you come out of hospital the time to be treating yourself with brownies? The fear just doesn't last long enough. She's only reading the comments that support her and then calling everyone else stupid and saying she won't change eating home-cooked meals and telling people to shut it. People are not telling her to not eat home-cooked meals. Quite the opposite. They're telling her to eat healthily. The problem is Chantal has always believed if something is made from scratch, it's healthy because I guess it's not processed. But the things she makes are not healthy. And by healthy, I mean beneficial for her needs in her body. Because there isn't a one-size-fits-all for what's healthy for people. She's right about that, but that doesn't justify what she's eating. She's scoffing at keto and saying, just because you lose weight, people think it's healthy. Again, people's health needs are different. At the moment, the weight she is a massive risk for her, and anything that gets her down in weight quite quickly would probably be of benefit to her. Now, that's not without its limits, and I'm not saying that keto is right for her, especially with all her other organs being under threat, but didn't her doctor tell her to lose weight immediately? She says her chat are not doctors, and every doctor has a different opinion. So confirm that even if she makes it to this appointment, which is looking less and less likely, if she was going to do it, she would have done it immediately as part of the new day, new me. But even if she goes and she listens, I don't think she's going to follow it, because her idea is, I want this, and it's the justification in your head. I want this, and different people have different opinions, and therefore what the doctor is telling me is only an opinion that I can choose to ignore. She can choose to ignore it, but the consequences are getting more dire every day. At this point, she is rage blocking and saying she's going to stop going live. She hates it. She doesn't enjoy it. She doesn't know why she does it. Money. Money, it's okay, but money. And attention, but money. That is why you do it. She says she hates being on the internet with people like this. Well, according to her, her husband pays for everything, and she will not admit that he pays for everything with the money that she brings over, but he pays for everything. There is no need, if he is supporting her, for her to be on live, according to her. So if you don't like it, don't do it. You'd certainly get a lot less flack if you just turned it off, particularly if you're not enjoying it. She says any carb haters get out, potatoes come out of the ground. Do brownies come out of the ground? Are you growing a brownie tree in that kitchen? I don't think they do. Sugar does. Sugar comes from various plants. It's plant-based. It doesn't mean it's good for you. Various poisons come from different plants. It doesn't mean it's good for you. SCP is trying to tell her that controlling diabetes is making wise decisions daily. You know, the whole consistency thing you need. But she is ranting about being 40 and making her own decisions, and how she was in the hospital and her blood sugar was high because of her kidney infection. Which definitely, having infections can worsen blood sugar, but you're on 5 different medications right now and your blood sugar is 14. Thanks to the blocking spree, the hug box has now been purged of dissenters and is attempting to soothe her. She says we're not going to get a rise out of her, like she hasn't been ranting at the camera for the last 10-15 minutes, and then says she'll have a party when certain reactors' lives fall apart. Just keep that in mind for later when she's bitching about people being mean to her. She is scoffing at people having no life and keeps saying that the brownies didn't even spike my blood sugar, so brownies all the way then, hey? And we just move on to bitching out reactors, and she is so angry. Oh, something else must have been going on behind the scenes, because she was done with life before she got on this live stream. Someone mentions purple glitter, and Foodie says that purple glitter sent her loads of emails trying to take down Monty. She threatens to release them if purple glitter doesn't leave her alone, but then later said that it's been a while since she received them. And she also, in a threat that wasn't a threat but was clearly a threat, was like, I think she sent them under her real name. I'm not sure, I'd have to check. I'm not sure what name they're under. Does she say she's going to dox purple glitter? No, but is that a threat? I would take it as one if I were purple glitter. She says that all the hate has made FFG ugly and she wouldn't trade. I'm thinking to how rage-filled she's been in this live stream. I'm like, honey, the mirror is back. What level of hatred are you at right now? The mirror is back. She gets mad that someone tells her to take it offline, and she snaps back that no, she's not going to be forced away from something she loves doing. She started this rant by saying she hates going live. It's not enjoyable. She won't do it anymore. Remember when she used to rage quit the internet every 2-3 days? And her big threat, so people would beg her to come back, was, oh, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It's not us you punish, it's your paycheck that you cut. My husband does pay my bills. I worry about some debts back in Canada, and that's it. I'm guessing that's her tax payment arrangement. All right, so if your husband pays your bills with money that he earned himself, that's a caveat, then you don't need to be on here. You started this by saying you hate it. Stop doing it. She would rather cut out her eyes or watch Magnum PI than watch reactors. That's a very specific set of circumstances, and she does watch reactors. She might watch them through your mama, but she does watch reactors. She knows too much of what goes on to not. Reactors don't go anywhere or do anything. No life, says the woman who just admitted she hadn't left the house this weekend. Someone gets ignored saying, don't you have anything else to talk about, as she rants about FFG. Someone else suggests getting a hobby, and she just shoots down every suggestion. She thinks she's got a win here, saying no matter what gets thrown away, she's going to turn it into a positive. So actually, thank you. Thank you for making me more resilient. Now, her understanding of resilience here confuses me, because she is sat blowing up for the millionth time about this, and it's not like she hasn't raged before. If you are online freaking out on camera about the same reactors that you have been freaking out about for years, you are not resilient. Resilient is just getting through it and it not doing this to you. And in terms of her real life, she literally won't go outside without someone accompanying her. Even when she did her visit to the coffee shop by herself, like it was noteworthy, it was enough to have a video, Salah drove her. There are times throughout this where she calms down a little bit and she starts talking, just meandering through chat, and she gets a little bit angry, then gets a little bit calmer. We're currently talking about star signs and face wash, because if you don't know, she's an Aries, and apparently that excuses all of her behavior. I'm not really into star signs and what have you, but if we're gonna go by it, I'm a Taurus. You wanna talk stubborn? Let's keep going. She's chatting about places she would and wouldn't travel. Chantal doesn't like despots, which I presume, given that they were talking about North Korea, that she means despots. And she's never heard of Brunei, which she calls Brunei. She says she doesn't party anymore, and someone points out that she does weed in any country that it's legal, and then she agrees. Someone asked her about getting her nails done, I think. She says nails are a pain if you have long nails. I'm actually thinking of getting my nails done again. I used to get them done all the time. I don't like acrylics, but when I have them painted, my nails grow longer naturally. I'm debating it. My salary is due to go up this year. I might put a little bit of it towards something fun. Suddenly we're on a rant about her dad, and I'm not entirely sure how we got there. Usually there's a link somewhere. Apparently he calls her mum. She's justifying that, it's her choice that they don't speak, I think, but that her dad does want to talk to her. And I think this is something to do with Yabba or something about what Yabba has said, because we're now ranting about Yabba. But apparently he calls her mum, and her mum was like, it's her choice whether she's in contact with you, but I'll give her your contact stuff. We don't go very far with that, but because she goes back to hating on reactors and says she's nothing like Yabba. She doesn't have a channel of hate. Excuse me. Go watch this one back. She's not planning a funeral. She literally said in this react that she would laugh at reactors' lives falling apart. No one's better or worse, by the way. I'm not saying reactors are right. I'm not saying that Chantal is right. I'm saying when it comes to backbiting online, we're all in the mud together, and Chantal needs to realize she's being a hypocrite here. She says in a way that I don't think is a joke at all, she's going to go eat a whole tray of brownies now, because that'll teach us. And then says, no, I'm not stupid. Respectfully, I disagree. We'll see if the brownies are still there, hey? Someone suggests a TENS machine to help with the pain. She doesn't quite know what a TENS machine is at first. It's one of those machines you attach to a joint or whatever, and it can help with nerve pain. Now, apparently that's fine to suggest, but when people say experimenting with brownies might not be a good idea, there's lots of doctors and nutritionists in the chat today, is the sarcastic reply. I don't think you need to be at the level of doctor or nurse to say brownie's bad after a diabetic episode. I think there's a certain amount of common sense there. She's tiring out, but occasionally starts up again, prompted by comments in the chat. She's not here for our approval. She does what she wants. She doesn't know what people expect, etc. I think she is actually genuinely angry because she saw her dinner as a really great choice. And she was like, it's some rice. I had lots of vegetables. Which shows underneath all the attitude that she really doesn't understand nutrition. And that's why going and actually listening to the nutritionalist is really important. But anything she gets told, as I said before, will just become, if I twist there and I bend there, it's justified that I eat what I want. The choice can only in the end be made by her. Exhibit A of this thought process starts with the sentence, if the diabetic doctor I saw, until I'm told otherwise, says I can have some rice, and there's no point listening to the rest. Like, she will drag her feet and never book that nutrition class, because right now she has a justifiable to her reason why she's eating what she's eating. And as long as she can justify it, she's not interested in the truth. At one point while ranting, she steps in it a bit and says, I'd rather be gay than I think it was in reference to being with garlic bread. People were not impressed. They wanted to know what she meant by that, and she has to do a little bit of damage control. I wouldn't say she necessarily does it successfully, but there we go. She keeps insulting reactors, goes back over how she never abused her cats. Oh, Jesus, I am not rehashing all that for you. You know what happened. About FFG. This is what Chantal Marie has to say about FFG. She's like a megalomaniac. She raises herself up with lies. Did you ever meet anyone like that? Bitch, where is that mirror? Go get it. Go get it out your pocket. Go get it out your bedroom. Stare at it. Yes, I have met somebody like that. Did you ever meet any? Projection, madam. I wonder where all of us might have met somebody like that. People in the chat are now trying to encourage her with like super chats and milestone chats to kind of change the topic and keep the positivity. Spoiler alert, she does not change the topic or keep the positivity. Her chat is finding the term sugarfoot quite funny and she doesn't appreciate it. Did you see people calculating your prescription costs? Brenda, you've been watching the channel. Hi, Brenda. Brenda seems a bit confused as to why people would do that, so I'm going to clarify for her. We do it because Foodie lies, and those lies are disprovable. If she'd stop lying, I'd stop disproving it. I don't like being lied to. I don't care what the actual answer is, but I don't like being lied to. Foodie, again, is like, oh, how do they know what we paid? Because the Kuwaiti government sets the amounts, you fool. There are differences in price. There is the wholesale price and there is the retail price. I imagine different insurances would also have different coverage. But if we want to know the retail price, which is what Foodie will be paying, yes, we know the price. Now, I will say the price list I got was from 2022, December 2022, because the newest medication lists that are available to her have gone online and I don't have access to the online system. But the medicines that she bought were on that list. Oh, also, I had some people ask, hey, how is she getting away with going to the hospital then? She's going as a private patient. If she goes in and she pays out of pocket whatever they charge, they're not going to check her. They're not going to throw her out. She's there on a tourist visa. She brought a passport. They said, okay, pay for it. What they were trying to prevent was medical tourism, where people access like the free public service. And then that means that the citizens who are supposed to access the free service don't have as many resources dedicated to them. If she's there privately and she shows up with a passport and she's willing to pay the money, then she's willing to pay the money. At this point, I am ready for this live to finish, okay? Salah brings her water when she mentions she's thirsty, thereby reviving her long enough to not get offline when she said she was going to, which is just another reason to hate him. However, a few minutes later, he does come out to remind her to get offline to take her insulin, so we're gonna let it go. I think that is basically all you need to know. The chat does meander back and forth. She goes over a few things again. She responds to a bit of chat, but nothing else that's really necessary for you to hear, I don't think. So that is where Chantal is right now. She may have gone live since I've been recording because it was quite late. I've just done a rush. It's 10:30 right now and I still need to edit. I haven't checked her community post, so I don't know if she's been on there. She seems to be sulking right now, so we'll see if she goes online today or not. I know that she's very eager to prove the brownie thing, so we will see if a pre-recorded video goes up on the experiment. Of course, if she does the brownie thing today and she's got exactly the same result with or without the Unicity, then she doesn't have the argument that the Unicity works because it's obviously her medication. So who knows if we'll actually see that video or not. All right, everybody, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry this was late. And have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.